pretty. Merlin, get out of there. Mickey, oh my God. Merlin! Dude, hasn't seen me for a week. Doesn't give a Merlin! Come here! Meanwhile, this one. Hi. Hi. Can you get out of there, please? Hello. Oh my goodness. You silly monkey, come on. I'm gone for a week and you turn into a feral child who has gotten very, very fuzzy. Did you miss me at all? Hey, pay attention here. Did you miss me at all? Huh? That's the least cute reaction I've ever gotten from you. Normally, you're happy to see me. So it is the day after I got back from Kentucky. I had a less than exciting greeting from this guy. Hi. Are you excited to see me now? Don't even grab the whip. Oh my God. He was a fool coming in from the paddock. Up. Pretty. Come on. Up. Good boy. And woo. Good boy. Well, you look really good. Hi. He was very happily eating his food, but now they're staring at something. Fall Merlin has definitely arrived. Although in fairness to him, it is about 6 degrees today and very chilly. He didn't explode as much in the arena as I thought he would, which is great. I might ride him, probably not tomorrow because it's going to be 9 degrees, but Thursday. Yeah. Soaked it a bit too much, didn't I? So it is the next day, and though cool, it is much, much nicer today. So I'm going to lunge him again, potentially get on him. I'm just going to throw his bareback pad on. Can't make this crap up. Hi, boys. Come on, Merlin. Hello, Mouse. Good boys. Come on. I actually managed to make it out to the barn for like 5:30, despite ridiculous traffic. So I can do some stuff outside, which is great. He's seeming much more chill than last night, which is good. Good boy. Oh yes, stretchy man. This, my friends, is why I never need to use side reins. He is being very, very good. I'm gonna brave getting on bareback in the halter, even if all we do is walk, because it's just such a nice night, even though it's like 11 degrees. How pretty. All right, dude, let's keep walking. I'm gonna walk another 10 minutes or so. And yeah, once again, on a night like tonight, reminding me why he will be with me forever. You know, he has gotten a bit of a spicier side this summer as he's gained confidence and also power as his body's changed. But at the end of the day, he's still the same very, very good, sensible horse. He was a nutbag last night. Like, he was very hyper. He was jogging up the hill. He was just being very spunky, and I would not have gotten on him last night. And I wasn't planning on riding tonight either because it was supposed to be a similar day, but it's gorgeous out. It's Wednesday, and he hasn't been ridden since not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before. 10, 11 days. I lunched him for 10 minutes, 15 maybe. And a lot of that was walking. It really took energy to get him to go into the canter. And I got on him, and now I'm like this. And Mickey's always watching what his bestie's doing. Hey, Mouse. Always watching. Oh my. We are keen tonight. I know the trees are thinning out, aren't they? It's a cat. Yeah, it's a cat. Two cats. Or a cat chasing a bunny. You're fine. So I was gonna ride inside tonight, but I made it out here earlier than planned. I'm gonna ride outside because soon enough we'll be having to ride inside every night during the week. Apparently we're scared of these hay carts, so phone is gonna go away. The trees along the track don't really change color, they just kind of die. So it's a lot more open than he's used to, and he's like, oh my god, I can see the field. Holy crap. I thought about taking him on the trail, but I'm gonna do trail rides probably all weekend. I figured tonight we'll get a flat school in. I do love trail riding this time of year, but I also need to make sure that I don't, that's like all I do, because it is important with him as a young horse that he still does some schooling. So I didn't end up getting any riding footage, but he was very, very good. A little bit spunky at the start. I worked on him sitting at the canter a little bit and me sitting the canter rather than doing like a half seat. And then I did some sit trot without strips. I am on my way to the barn and stuck in traffic on the weekend. I am on anti-duty again this weekend, just like I was not last weekend, I guess, but the weekend before. Natalie's working both jobs this weekend and she has a lot of school to do. My plan is to ride both boys today and tomorrow. I'm going to use my jump saddle on Mickey again today because when I rode him in it 2 weeks ago, it seemed to suit him quite well, and he hasn't been ridden since then. So because we were away, and then Natalie's been doing groundwork with him the last few days because it's been really cold. So we'll see how he is. He's been spunky. He was quite spunky the last time I rode him on the Sunday. So we'll see how he is today. My thought was to hack them both days this weekend, but where they're both kind of not coming back into work, but like they had a little bit of time off and it's fresh weather, I'm going to do a little schooling session with them today. Merlin, that's not yours. Merlin. Once again. Good boy. Yes. It's such a nice day. I really do want to jump him another couple of times while we're still able to ride outside. I think next weekend, Natalie and I will be having a barn date probably on both Saturday and Sunday. So I think maybe I will jump him one of those days. I'd like to do a bounce or something like that. I don't think I'm quite going to hit my goal of jumping around a course by the end of the fall because I'm not sure how I feel about jumping out on the grass when it's really cool. I'm sure he would be fine on a day like today, but I think the rest of our jumping before he goes on his winter break will be more focused on technical exercises. So today is going to be all about the dressage. So I've been starting to introduce shoulder in. I'd like to reintroduce the idea of a leg yield and just kind of see where he's at. Keep doing our little baby extensions. So since I haven't done a proper dressage ride talk through in a while, I thought that this would be the perfect opportunity. So I had a few goals. I wanted to work on transitions, I wanted to work on leg yields, and I wanted to work on shoulder in. So I started out with a nice solid warm-up, making sure to keep him more up in the contact than I normally would. I really like to establish bend and suppling by doing shallow loops on the long side. So I did a couple each way and it got him really working nicely into the contact. I really like how steady he becomes once he's moving properly off of my inside leg into my outside rein, like you can see here. And I was going to go straight into the trot dressage work before cantering, but he was feeling a little bit hyper and started cantering on his own. So I thought, okay, we'll use this forward momentum and we'll channel it into trying to get a nice, steady, connected canter. Merlin's natural way of going at the canter is very nice, but he also tends to prefer to go more onto the forehand. So I'm working really hard at the moment to try to get him to sit more on his hocks and to canter up into the contact rather than forward down into a stretch. He's still quite weak in this regard, so I'm trying not to do more than a circle or two at a time before kind of going forward into a half seat and letting him have a good stretch. So you see there, he almost broke into the trot because he was finding it hard. So I asked him just to keep going, and then around the next turn I went up into a half seat and let him have a little stretch. Part of working on his canter is also working to be able to do transitions within the gait and to contain the canter once it gets big. So that's what I did here. We had done some half seat and then I just did a circle where I sat and asked him to come back to me. So once we had cantered, then it was time to get into the meat and bones of our ride. So I started with some trot transitions. He's really good at maintaining contact in upward transitions, but he struggles to do a downward trot transition in less than like 6 steps. So I'm trying to focus on doing at least a couple each direction every ride so that we get to a point where it doesn't take half of a short side for me to get a nice downward trot to walk transition. The thing that I'm finding about Merlin as we start to do some more, I don't want to say advanced dressage stuff, but more beyond just riding in contact and bending and suppling, is that his size and the length of his body and the power and length of his strides makes it really hard for him to compress himself into a more connected gait. So it's all about building up that muscle really slowly over time, and that's part of what I'm doing with these transitions. And you can see that in the first 2 transitions that we did to the right, he came above the contact as he did the downward transition, but here it was much better, so I decided to end the transitions there. So then I pivoted to baby leg yields and shoulder in, and I did both one way and then went the other way. So I started with the leg yields. Now he does not know how to do a proper leg yield, so what I do to start to introduce the idea, just look how even he is there, is that I turn down the quarter line and I kind of go on a diagonal, and then once his body is set up right, I ask him to do a couple of steps of yielding towards the rail. He offered me a couple of good efforts, so then I did some shoulder in, which he's actually getting pretty good at, as you can see here. Like, it's still not perfect, but he is starting to understand the concept, and I truly think that once they start to understand shoulder in, that opens up so much more kind of easy understanding of introducing the other laterals. Something else I find useful is to go onto a 10-meter circle, or in his case 15-meter circle, to set him up when he loses his balance. You can see there I got a couple of really good steps and then rewarded, and you can see how he loves to go straight down into a stretch, and that his kind of go-to is to be more forward and low. So that's why it's so much hard work to get him to kind of go, not slow, but to sit and compress himself and to be more up. So this is the way that he finds a lot harder for shoulder in, so I find myself doing a lot more circles and then only trying to aim for 1 or 2 correct steps before I let him go forward. So here we come off the circle. You can't really tell because of the angle, but he did offer a couple of nice steps, and then I just went on to another circle. After he had done some things that he found really hard, I wanted to end the session by working on something he finds a little bit more easy. So we worked on some baby extensions, which at the moment basically just involves asking him to move more forward in the trot while still maintaining a more upright frame, and from there we'll start to build in some proper extension. But yeah, overall he was a very good boy and I was very pleased. It'll be your turn soon, Mouse. Like, look how gorgeous. Oh, best time of year. So this dude was awesome. Quite spunky, but awesome. It's so funny, Mickey's just been standing at the gate this whole time, waiting. So I'm now aboard the Mouse, and for not having been ridden for 2 weeks, he's feeling pretty chill. With him, appearances can be deceiving. He's definitely more forward than he normally is. So I'm going to keep all hands on deck, and I'll set my people up once we get going. So next up was Mousy, and I didn't have any super big hopes or expectations for this session because he hadn't been ridden in 2 weeks. So the aim was less about like schooling or training, and I'm using air quotes when I say that, and more about just giving him a good stretchy workout. And as always, I started with some short but frequent transitions, and I was actually really impressed with how quickly he started to feel more loose. Now, of course, we had to stop and look at something scary, but yeah, he started to loosen and supple quite quickly, to be honest. So I was able to do some more extended periods of trot where I was really focused on getting him to work through his back and engage his core. And one thing that is really nice about Mickey is he's very clear in telling you when he needs to walk, because you can feel it in the kind of impulsion or lack thereof when he starts to feel weak. And like building any muscle, shorter but more quality repetitions are better than pushing through and straining the muscle, especially when you're working to build up muscle to support areas of the body that are weaker because of previous injury or things like arthritis. So you will notice that I tend to do a lot more to the right than I do to the left, and that's just because I personally noticed a big difference in the quality of trot that I get to the left if he's properly warmed up, going his good way, properly supple, properly loose. I just think it makes it a little bit easier for him going his bad way when he's already worked through that kind of initial stiffness and his muscles and his joints are all warmed up. And again, here I was aiming for quality of steps over quantity of steps. So if he offered me, 5, 10 nice engaged steps, I was happy with that, and I let him walk whenever he needs to. Natalie's working really, really hard to build him up slowly to help him be as happy and comfortable as he can be. And you're not going to do that by taking shortcuts or asking him to do something that he's physically not strong enough or ready to do. And that's why I think we should be so grateful when a horse is open and trusts us enough to tell us their limits. So for example, here he had told me that he needed a break going his hard way. So I thought, okay, we'll just go and we'll do some nice stretchy trot going his good way, and you can see how lovely he looks. Obviously there's some inconsistencies in the contact, but overall he's just looking, and he felt really, really good. And you can see how windy it was on this day based on the amount of jolting that my Pivo was doing, so I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I just did a little bit to the right and then went back and did a couple more transitions to the left, and then we were done, and he actually felt really, really good the last couple of transitions that we did. Come on, have it. Good drink. Good boy. But look how good you're looking, Mouse. Huh? So overall, I am very, very pleased with Mr. Mickey and with Mr. Merlin. Mickey especially, he hasn't been ridden in 2 weeks, and he's done some groundwork the last few days. He wasn't stiff at all. His good way and the bad way, I only did a few steps at a time, and he did feel a little bit more stiff, but he loosened up as the ride went on. So I think tomorrow he'll be even better. So in a turn of events that surprises no one, I forgot to film an outro. So I hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope that you enjoyed the kind of more talk through style. And if you're new here and want to see more, consider hitting the subscribe button. I would really love to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Have a great day. Bye.